Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics, episode 34. Today we're making this. This entire thing has been made with a few expressions, and most of this tutorial will be about those expressions. So yeah, if you're just here for the effect, that's cool too, but it's mostly about those expressions. Anyway, enjoy! Okay, here we are in After Effects. I will show you the effect as I built it before this tutorial, and we are going to create something similar with a similar setup, and I'm just going to explain to you how it works, and well, you can make out of it what you want. So we're going to start off with a new composition. Our composition is going to be 14 seconds long apparently. That's long enough, and it's going to be square, so 1280 by 1280. It doesn't really matter what amount you take, as long as you take something that is square for this, because well, it just looks better if it's square. Yeah, videos will still need to be non-square, so kind of the normal way, but yeah, you can of course adjust that accordingly. So we're going to start off with now let's do a star for this one. I used a circle for the other one, so we're going to do a star here, and we're going to set it to the right amounts. Let's make it 5-sided, make it 0 degrees, and make it, I think, like 20 and 40. Yeah, that's good. And then the position currently is set at 0, 0, but we have a transform as well, and there we are going to set it to 0 and minus 50, which means it's 50 above the midline. Then we're going to set the stroke to something white, and we're turning off the fill. It's already done for me. You click on the fill, the word fill, and then you select the one with the line, with the red line. You can also just delete the fill here. That's good too. Both of them work. So the anchor point is set to 0, 0, which means that we are going to be in the middle, and we're going to just add a repeater here. And the repeater is going to be for the polystar, obviously, so it's going to replicate that. The number of copies is going to affect the rotation. So let's do rotation is 360 divided by the number of copies, like we always do. And this way, so you just drag with the pick whip here to the copies, and then you basically can now change the copies, and then you see the rotation will actually vary. But we're going to have to delete the position variation there. So what this now does is it allows us to create multiple copies, and it will just make those into a perfect, well, alignment. Yeah, the only problem is if you reach 0, the equation will turn off. So we're going to set that to something bigger than 0. Obviously, we're going to vary the number of copies. So we're going to alt-click on this, and we're going to say, well, the number of copies is going to depend on time. So at least put time in there. And we can, for example, say, okay, we want to go from 0 to, let's say, 3 seconds, and we want to have every frame 1 extra. So then we say 30 times time, and for the first 3 seconds, that will look like this. Oh, hang on. Plus 0.0001, because we need to make sure that it can never be 0. And there you go. This is what it looks like, and at time is 3, it will look like this. Yeah, we can do this, of course. It will be very boring though. There is nothing to see after about this moment. So yeah, we can do this for half a second, and then it's kind of done. because everything after that just becomes denser and it's not really interesting to watch at all. So we can also say, like, okay, let's make it somewhat interesting. Let's say if time is smaller than, let's say, 1, then the answer, the number of copies is 0. We're going to put that between these. These are the squiggly brackets that are next to the P, basically. Yeah, so if time is smaller than 1, we want 0 copies, and then we're going to yeah, expand on this, because we can do this, of course, for every second if we want to. That's what I did in the other one. So at time smaller than 2, which means between 1 and 2, we're going to want 1, then we want 2, and then we want 4, and so on. So yeah, it's pretty easy to understand how this works. So 5 and then 6 becomes 16, and 7 becomes 32. So then, yeah, at 32, we are kind of, yeah, I can show you what it is. So I shouldn't go, oh, yeah, 0.0001. I can show you what it looks like. Only, well, we have to turn it back on. So currently it just says, well, screw you, I'm going to place all of them at the same position. So we're going to have to adjust that a little bit. I don't know why it does that, but it does that every time. So now you're going to have to adjust the anchor point, I believe. I forgot what I needed to adjust. Oh no, is this? Yeah, it does that every time because I. So yeah, what it looks like now is, it looks like, well, the way it should look. So at 7 seconds, it will look like, well, this. And I'm going to have to turn back the equation. Oh, we're still past 7. So there you go. So it looks like this, which seems to be fine. So 32 seems to be fine. The thing is, we need to make something happen after it to show what it does after it. So here we're going to say, let's say 10 minus time, which is, we're going to go backwards now to, well, where we were, to 0 basically. So 10 minus time times, let's say, hang on, we have 3 seconds. So it basically now counts 3, 2, 1, and then 0. So we're going to do that times 10 plus 0.0001 to make sure that we don't have 0. And yeah, we can of course do this like this, and it should work fine. Well, for what it's supposed to do. But you can see here that we have half stars. So here it's not really noticeable yet, but yeah, you can see them kind of moving in. And if we don't want that, like, yeah, we get these kind of configurations, and we would like to have like straight up the right, or well, only integers. So it's either 1 or 2 or 3. It's never 1.5. So to make that happen, we have to put a round in there, and that's of course math.round with a capital letter. So with this now, well, hopefully working, this means that now we have a certain number. So every moment that passes, we have a certain number, and you can see it goes 3, 4, 5, and then 6, and then the rest is kind of uncountable, but yeah, up until the last moment, and then here, yeah, once I pass 10, it becomes a problem because then it no longer exists. So we can say, for example, we want to end it at 2, which is at, hang on, to turn it back on, because I divided by 0. So once we reach the, let's say, the 4 or something like that. So yeah, at 9:17, yeah, we do have to change it then. But let's see, can we say 15? Yeah, so as long as it's smaller than 9.5, it does that now. So we can of course also adjust it so that, yeah, once again made it divide by 0 or something similar. Well, no, in this case it, yeah, I should just do it like this. Put an else in there so so it doesn't give that error at least. The thing is, up until 9.5 now, it will do, or it will use this equation, and yeah, after that we have 5 remaining. So at 9.5 we have 5 remaining, and at that point we can basically say from 9.5 to 10.5 we have, yeah, well, this one again. So we are stuck with 4 then. So smaller than 10.5, and then we can make it into 11.5 and 12.5, 1, and then 13.5, 0. And it will, oh no, else 0. So yeah, now it will actually work the way that we intended. So now becomes 4, then 2, then 1. And so the same thing it does in the beginning. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on. It does a similar thing here. Well, it counts back until it reaches 5, then it goes to 4, 3, or 4, 2, 1, 0. So yeah, we have that now. We can of course just copy this into everything, and then we have a perfectly good thing. But we want something more out of this, because what we want is we want every row, and you might have noticed what was happening over here. Every one of them actually pops in at a different moment, and it's very hard to see when you start over here, but hopefully, yeah, you can see it here. So they build up from the center outwards, and to do that we have to kind of make different equations for the, yeah, each of the layers, for the index numbers. So what this, for example, would be is the next line, or the next, sorry, layer has one index higher and should be 1/30th of a second behind this one. We have 30 frames per second. So basically this one should trigger for the current layer at time is 2, and then for the next layer at time is 2 plus 1 frame, which we're going to do by just adding 1 frame. So plus, let's say index, that's the number that's right here. So currently that's 1. Let's put it between brackets just to clarify. Index minus 1 times, sorry, divided by 30, because we want 1/30th of a second with each of the different layers. So we're going to copy this then into this, And that means that every index, so every new layer, is going to be delayed by a very small amount, 1/30th of a second. And then at that point I will have to try to find out where we are, because I don't really know. I'm also going to add a rotation to the entire thing. The rotation is going to be, it's going to be, let's say 180 divided by, I don't know. Now let's say we make it, we make 180 divided by 10 seconds. That's the total rotation, which means that it has to rotate 18 degrees per second, right? So 18 times time, and then we're going to add plus, I don't know, 5 times index minus 1. So for every layer, it's going to rotate 5 more degrees. And that 5 degrees is going to be standard, well, on every time sample. But yeah, it should result in them being curved. I don't know what my equation here is. It's 30 times time plus index minus 1 times 5, so it's kind of similar. It just doesn't, it rotates quicker than this one. But yeah, it's all good. We'll see if it looks good. If it doesn't look good, then we can always adjust it, of course. And we also have a rotation on this guy. So the repeater copies stuff, we kind of want the number of copies to be linked to each other. But yeah, as you can see in the original one, I have everything set up layer by layer. You can of course just program everything in here so that you only have to program one layer and then just duplicate that, and hopefully that will work for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our polystar here, and our polystar will be, hang on, where are you? Over here, yes. So minus 50 is going to be minus 100. Then we're going to duplicate it. And now I'm going to pick up layer number 2, put it above layer number 3 because it's already open and I don't have to open it all the way then. So this one, duplicate, minus 200, duplicate, minus 250, duplicate, minus 300, duplicate, put it above again, minus 350, duplicate. I guess we're going to stop at minus 400. No, maybe make 450 as well. It seems to still fit on the screen, so yeah, maybe even one more. Okay, minus 500. I'm not sure if that, yeah, that will still fit. So we now have all of the layers, and as you can see, they do have a curve to them. And let's see what it actually looks like. So currently, this is the first one, then the second one comes in, the third one, and you can see that they actually go the wrong way. So they go outside in. It's because I started on the inside and then built outwards with my layers. But the thing is okay, the shape of it. And all we need to do is just reverse all the layers. So we're going to put 3 under 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 2 because I copy 2 every time. So what it looks like now is, now it will build up from the inside out. Apparently it doesn't build up at all. That is kind of strange. It should of course build up now. Yeah, there you go. That one does build up. So it's kind of strange that the first one doesn't build up. Must have made a mistake in the well, the copy paste here, well, the formula basically. And yeah, indeed I did, because this should not be smaller than 1, it should be smaller than 1 plus index minus 1 times divided by 30. Like this. So yeah, to fix this, unfortunately we're going to have to copy the entire thing, select everything, hit U again, and then copy paste it literally everywhere by hand. So layer number 1, layer number 2, where are you? I guess this is it. It will keep it open now. Just doesn't know that there's such a big equation in it. Or expression, I guess they're called in here. But yeah, we're just going to paste this expression in all of them. And of course it's already in here, but yeah, whatever. So now it should build up one by one. So small mistake, yeah, there you go. And let's hit the 0 just to see what it actually does. So this is not the preview yet. The preview, this is loading in all the details, and then it's going to play at real speed in a moment, well, once it does everything. So here we can see what is actually correct and what is not so correct. It all seems good. It seems the way that I planned it. We can in fact make the scale of the layers, so the stars, smaller and smaller the closer to the center it is, for example, by using index, because we know that, well, the middle part is now at the top and the outer part is now at the bottom, or the other way around. But yeah, we can definitely use that, and you can see how it looks now, or just a little bit at least. And yeah, that still doesn't work, but it still builds from the middle, and here you can see it at full speed or at normal speed, and you can see that it actually does do it the way that we intended. And yeah, the last few frames get cut off. I don't know why that is, but yeah, it only goes up till here, and then it cuts out, even though there is more to be had. So as you can see in the end here, we want it, of course, to fade out from the outwards in. So this one should disappear first and then go inwards. And to do that, we're going to have to go to the this, and instead of doing plus index minus 1 divided by 30, we're going to have to do something like the maximum index is currently 10. So let's say we do here 10 minus the index divided by 30. So if we do it like this, it should result in this this thing being reversed. So we'll have to see if that actually does work. We can check it by seeing whether this one now disappears at the right moment. This is layer 2, which means that it's the outer edge, and it will either, yeah, it will stay there. Well, this is kind of weird. I don't know why it does that, but we'll fix it in a moment. Because it has something to do with the fact that they're not all triggering at the same time. So at 11, or I guess at 10.5, because we set it to 10.5, you can see that this one immediately disappears. So it disappears at 10.5 together with this one, but this one disappears because of the change that we made, and this one disappears because it's wrong. So we're once again going to have to copy paste this into everything. So just select it, Control C, and then Control V in every single thing, which is kind of a hassle, but there are only 10 of them. And as I said, you can actually program it such that you only have to change one and the rest will just follow. But I'm not going into that. You can figure it out on your own, because it's not that hard to figure out. And yeah, well, once we have this, they should start disappearing outwards in. And come on, what did you do? He also did outwards in. I'm better off doing it like this. It's slower, but it does show us better what's actually happening. And there you go. So now we have what we want. The only thing that we still need is the colors. So let's close all of the layers. I used gray colors and then used curves to, well, you can still see the curves, to actually make them into one thing. So I think I'm going to still do that. We're going to start with this one, which is the outer one. And the outer one is going to be the darkest. So we selected all layers. And we do that because now we can deselect one layer and then see. So if we click on the stroke, we can still see the color we picked for our previous layer. So I'm going to pick that one. And now we can see the lighter color. Pick that one. So I'm just picking some random, well, not random colors, but they're not predefined either. They're all gray and they have to, well, differ from each other, but not by a lot. So especially here we have to be close together because we still have to do 5 more layers. Now 4. And we don't want it to actually be white. So we're going to have to be close, but not too close. There still needs to be some kind of difference between them. And you can see the difference because, well, here you can see the difference appear. So let's say we want that color. Okay, now we're going to put an adjustment layer on top of everything. Adjustment layer. We're going to put the curves on the adjustment layer. This way it applies the effect of the curves to all of the layers. Let's pick something where we can actually see it. Yeah, here you can see what it actually looks like. The center is bright and then it goes darker towards the exit. We can of course brighten everything. That's not what we're going to do though, because well, we just did all that work to make sure that that we get something that actually changes color. So I'm not going to then change it back. Yeah, I like the yellow colors for this, so brownish. But if you like something else, yeah, let's make it something else. Let's make it a greenish blue color. So something completely different from what I had before. Actually, let's make the green into a contrast curve. That way we get some more different colors. So you can see now the outside is really just blue, where the inside is really not. Less red. It gives us more color here. And then of course we can, as I said, brighten it up if we want to, so we get a little more color in the outside. Yeah, you can only do that once you've chosen your color, because otherwise it just looks terrible. You can even make it more contrast, and maybe make a little bit of contrast in the blue as well. Not a lot, just a tiny bit. No, it's actually, let's not. The thing is, these colors will then just completely fade. So now we're going to add a background, and the background is going to either be on this thing, and then it has to be gray, or you can put this entire thing into a new composition and make your own background. So I'll show you both of them. So we're going to pick ramp, so don't mind this color. So we're going to overwrite it anyway. And here you can see what we're going to do. Well, radial ramp, obviously. Where's my dot? There's my dot. The dot is going to be at 640, 640, which is the middle of the screen. Apparently we have some rotation. Oh, that's our other layers. Never mind. So here we can set the end of the ramp, which is basically, well, where the color stops. And normally that is at the edge. So at the edge of the canvas. But you can, of course, make your own thing. I'm going to keep it at the edge, I think. I thought it looked okay. We can pick different colors for this. If you're saying like, yeah, I don't want like the super bright or super dark stuff, then yeah, you can feel free to do whatever. And of course, yeah, you can make whatever. Also blend with, oh no, that's just transparency would work. If you just use the transparency, you can actually make it somewhat darker, make the middle pop a little bit more. Yeah, you can make out of it whatever you want. So just experiment with the colors a little bit. I do like it when I can actually see all the colors. I don't think that's actually possible with this setup. But anyhow, this is how you can do it with the background. You can also say, I'm not going to use the background here. I'm going to make a new composition. It's called Comp 3 now. It doesn't really matter. We're going to plop Comp 2, that's the one we just made, in here. And you will see that it still works perfectly. It just doesn't have a background. And now, because the adjustment layer is gone, you can actually put in your own solid and just say, well, this is my background now. So now, as you can see, it doesn't color with the rest, so you can, if you want to put the ramp on this, and then you can actually set your own colors directly and say, yes, I want to have something from going from that to maybe green. And maybe you want to have radial ramp, and oh, where are you? It's always just out of sight. So we're going to set it to 640, 640, and there you go. So now I made the background directly, which means that I can influence it directly and doesn't even have to color with the rest. So I can put in completely different colors just because I want to. And that is, of course, the advantage of doing that without the adjustment layer. The advantage of doing it with the adjustment layer is that the colors actually match. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, I'm really good at picking terrible colors. So let's do that. And of course, if you look at it like at 100%, it will look different. Oh, it will look different from if you look at it from less than 100%, because these stars are actually very sharp, and therefore picking a different color background can result in very nice effects. So let's hit the 0, see what it looks like. This of course will just load in for a moment. You can see that this color actually doesn't really display well. It kind of disappears in the background, but hey, that's up to you to make something pretty out of it. I'm just showing you how the effect works and how to make this, and then what you do with it, that's up to you. If you have something that you want to share, don't hesitate to leave a comment. I would love to see what people make with this. And yeah, you can of course do this with different shapes. You can also use the equation thing for something completely different. And you can see here that it is actually quite a nice effect, because it has a time delay on each layer, which means that you can actually use that to kind of make it into some kind of, yeah, cylindrical lock or something like that, where the rings actually rotate, something like that. I don't know, just be creative. And yeah, we still have this little thing in there, where if it turns from 5 to 4, it's not really just, yeah, the way it should be. But yeah, I think it looks cool. It's a cool effect, at least. It actually does fit. So yeah, that's all I had to say. It's a short one finally, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.